Around October of last year, I had a friend of mine who started talking to me about FFS, and I became very curious about it and started doing some research online. Originally I was going to go with a doctor in Guadalajara who my friend was really hot on, named Dr. Cardenas. But then I realized that I should really do more research, so I started getting out on the internet. I got in an FFS group on Facebook and was on Real Self doing some research, and I came across a post from a lady named Jane Watson who was posting some really amazing some really amazing results at just these incredible prices, and I was like, it almost seemed like it was too good to be true, but then I started realizing, I'd heard people talk about going really all over the world, certainly all over the States, in Canada, Thailand, Spain, but I had not really heard anybody talking about India for medical tourism. And so I started doing some more research on that and started realizing it's kind of an emerging market, and there's still some opportunities to get some really good results, top quality results at prices which you just really can't get anywhere else these days. So I started talking with Jane a little bit, and we connected on Facebook, and then she told me about this organization that Jane works with, which is PriyaMED, who actually take care of organizing all the accommodation, all the surgeries, and then work with all the different doctors to actually coordinate it and handle the scheduling and then the logistics of getting around. So after that, I talked to several other doctors, including Dr. Spiegel, Zukowski, facial team, Martirosyan, and a couple others in South America. In general, the description of the work was all very similar: lowering the hairline, brow bossing, the rhinoplasty. Some were on the fence with cheek implants, yes or no, lip lift, and then the jaw and chin reduction. And I'm a little bit older, so I needed some liposuction under the jaw. But even though the work that was described was very similar, the prices varied dramatically, anywhere from the quotes I got from Jane, which were like around the $10,000 to $12,000 range, which is very similar to what I heard from Cardenas. And then anywhere from $24,000, $30,000, or even up to $62,000 was the highest quote I heard in the States. Looking at the results from these different surgeons, the results that Jane had achieved, and then some other photos which were shared privately with me, were as good or better than the top doctors I was seeing internationally. So at that point, I really became interested in Jane and the work that she had done and the people she was working with, and see I just wanted to kind of verify this is for real, this is a real thing, people were actually getting the results. So I knew I wanted to come work with the same outfit that Jane had been working with, and get those sort of results. Jane and I have sort of similar ages. I'm a little bit older, I'll admit, in public, I guess, but so I really felt confident that I could get similar results. And actually, once I got over here, in addition to the facial feminization surgeries that I needed, there was also an opportunity to get my teeth addressed. And also, I've been told in the States, I've had really bad vision since I was a child. Since I was 6, I've worn glasses. And I was told in the States that my eyes were too bad, I was too nearsighted to get LASIK. And so I was kind of just used to having to wear, contacts and eyeglasses for the rest of my life. And Jane said that they used a more modern technique here in Mumbai, where they actually have state-of-the-art facilities and the highest end medical technologies available on the planet. That we should go talk to her guy who actually took care of her eyes and even her mom's eyes. And so I went over to talk to him, and they did an eye exam, and I was well within the range for what they could cover. So I'm actually able to see, with my own eyes, without having to have any kind of contact lenses for really the first time since I was a child. That, and the teeth and the facial feminization surgery have all been tremendous. And even though I've gotten all this work done, and had to go see, all these different doctors, all these different clinics. Jane's really managed like the transportation on the ground and getting around, the city. And getting around Mumbai is different from getting around back home. There's a lot more issues with traffic and congestion, and the modes of transportation here, like these are rickshaw a lot, which is a very small three-wheeled sort of an open air cart, which we use a lot, which are a lot of fun. Mumbai is a very different city, and it's just been a real adventure getting around with it. So even though I decided and made up my mind that I was going to come to Mumbai, and work with Jane Watson and her outfit, I was still pretty nervous about going through the surgeries. But when I got here, there were already two women, Molly and Rachel, who had already been through the first two surgeries. The way that they do the surgeries here is they do the brow and the nose and the lip lift first, the upper half of the surgeries in one surgery, and you have a week of recovery, and they come back and then they do the lower half, which is to say the jaw and the chin and the neck lift and lower face lift if you need it. Molly and Rachel had already gotten to that point, and they're a little bit older than I was, and they both seem to be coping very well with it. Molly was up and walking around with me, and she and I and Jane went out to eat like the first night I got here, and we walked around. And Molly was just doing fine with it, and Rachel seemed like she was getting along, with no problems, kind of like enjoying, chilling, hanging out in the apartment a bit. So it was really like, gave me like a peace of mind to see that there were other people who had just gone through what I was going to go through, and were totally fine, we're hanging out, and we're happy to share their experiences with me, give me little tips on recovery, really helped set my mind at ease. And then after, Molly and Rachel left, because we're all sort of staggered schedules, Tegan and Jess came in, so I got to be like, sort of like the old hand on the block, and so it's been really great, seeing Tegan and Jess go through the same process, like, after I did. So I kind of have like the people before me and then the people who come after, and just seeing everyone kind of go through it and really have, very little problem with it. I've not had really any pain. There's been a little bit of what I label as discomfort, but even that, it's just not very serious. I've really had worse hangovers than like any aspect of the recovery here. I would say probably the first surgery is like slightly more intense for recovery than the second surgery, but I mean, they're both so mild that, I just really can't complain of either of them. The worst I might have had would be like a low-grade headache, but even that, the pain management here has been phenomenal. I watched a lot of videos on recovery, and some of these women were just in agony after their recovery with various surgeons who I won't mention, and you can find all those videos on YouTube if you look not very much, but I just didn't have any of that. There was an arrangement where we could stay in the clinic for 2 days after the surgeries, and on both occasions, after the first day of staying in the clinic, I was bored and ready to go back to the apartment and see my friends and get back to my life, because it really is, the clinic's nice and everything, but it's like being in any other hospital. You're kind of in like a hospital bed, and you're sort of sitting there, and you have a television, but it's really kind of dull. So I was very happy both days to be able to come back after spending just one night in the clinic, and they give you all your medication to take with you, and it's a very simple regimen of pills that last for 5 days. So you have basically 2 days in the clinic, and then 5 days of pills, which puts you in for your next surgery 7 days later. So it's all really easy. Jane helps you keep it all straight. She's like taking and ferrying everyone around. One of the other things that was really great is that once Jess and Tegan got here, they would come and visit me when I was like in recovery after surgery, and of course I did the same thing, go down, take them down and, do the hand holding, and it's just really great having like, awesome friends that you can hang around with who are there for you as you're recovering, as you're going through it. And the recovery is really so mild, like even within like a day or so of after the surgery, so say like, in the clinic for the day after and then back the day after that, by day 3, it's like, ready to go out, go to the cinema, we do some shopping. There's some great little shops, and you can get all kinds of bargains here. There's some malls, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but if you like Indian food, of course, obviously you'll be very happy here. If you don't like Indian food, there's McDonald's, there's KFC, there's Domino's, there's Pizza Hut, there's Subway and all that kind of thing as well. Or if your stomach's maybe like a little bit tired from having like really, really spicy food, and of course not all Indian food is really, really spicy either, but it's just been a lot of fun. There's like fresh produce stalls like right outside of our apartment where you can buy fresh vegetables. It's really kind of harder to get meat, but you can get eggs very cheaply. So I've made a lot of omelets and really enjoyed cooking. Some of the local ingredients are very different. So part of the reason I was so excited about this whole opportunity to come over here to Mumbai with Jane and PriyaMED and to work with her surgeons and doctors was that the results are, first class, for the international community. I really don't think you can get better surgeries than you can here, and the price tag is phenomenal. And I really could have afforded to have done it in the States. I would have hated myself for it and had to finance it, but I could have done. But I'm really glad to come here, work with Jane, and to show the world and other transgender women who are interested in getting these kind of surgeries done. You can get the highest quality results at a price tag that will not make you a pauper. All the facilities are first rate, and I would recommend to anyone who's considering this, don't let anything deter you. It's not very expensive. There's no pain really associated with it at all. It's all super hygienic, first rate facilities. The aftercare is wonderful. You get to have the face you've always wanted, including your teeth, including your eyes, the whole 9 yards, And I just think it's tremendous. I mean, what more could you ask for? And why would you wait any longer to start living your life? At the end of the day, what you really want are amazing results. You really want a face that you can be proud of, that you can be happy with, that you can show the world, because the face is really, that's you. And PriyaMED offers you the best results you can really expect at prices which really are affordable. I mean, we're talking less than $15,000, which is well less than the price of a car in the States. And it should be at the top of your list. And honestly, go ahead and do the other consultations. Talk to Facial Team, talk to Spiegel, talk to Zukowski, and then when you're done with it, take a long, hard look at the prices, take a long, hard look at the results, and then make an informed decision. But honestly, I feel like this is a no-brainer. PriyaMED's the way to go.